Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Friar Talk podcast. Glad to see you guys. Not see you guys, but glad to be back. Hope you guys missed us. Missed you guys for sure. Going to be talking about some possible free agent additions that we would possibly, if we were AJ Preller, we would look into. But we think are pretty intriguing options. We've talked about, a bunch of guys in our past couple videos. We've talked about Avisail Garcia. We've talked about Starling Marte, Mark Canna. A couple of intriguing options in those videos, very realistic options. In this one, we're going to try talking about guys that we haven't talked about before. Before we came on, we were thinking, maybe Raisel Iglesias is an available option that's realistic. I looked at his market value. Average annual salary of $15.5 million is his market value. I don't think the Padres are going to look in that direction. Raisel Iglesias is fantastic, but a little too much for the Padres. Chase, let's get into it. Who would be one of your guys? Because I think we're set at, maybe not in our lineup. Obviously, we're not set, but we've kind of talked about the lineup in depth and who we'd be looking into. So whether it's a starter, reliever, whatever it is, who do you think's the guy that you're intrigued by?
So this is only if the NL does adopt the DH in 2022. I like Jorge Soler. We saw what he did in the World Series, kind of how his power is legit. It comes in clutch opportunities. He's a good hitter. Just going throughout a whole season with him might be tough just because he's an up and down hitter. We have a few of those in the lineup. So having kind of a few of those guys when they're all cold, it really does hurt the lineup. But when he's on. He does special things. We saw that in the World Series. Going by starter now, realistically, the Padres do not have the most money to spend, but this would be like an amazing signing, in my opinion, especially just what he did. Marcus Stroman, I've always liked him a little bit, but he just started roasting some Yankees fans about their payroll is always the highest in the league and they don't do anything with it. Made my day. So you know what? I really want him to come to San Diego now, bring that energy. But realistically, that's not going to happen. You could see guys like having Zach Davies back, giving James Paxton a show-me deal. Maybe Chris Archer. Chris Archer has not seen that ace form in years, and you might be able to pick him up on a show-me deal and maybe get something special out of that. Outside of that, you don't really have a lot there. A lot of guys are getting up in age that are recognizable in name. You don't really want to commit to someone like that forever. That's why you give like James Paxton or Chris Archer or Zach Davies like a show-me deal, a 1-year deal, just so they can eat innings and stuff. Looking at relief pitchers, there's a lot on the market. But realistically, some of these higher-end guys, they're going to make $10 million a year. The Padres can't afford that, So Raisel Iglesias, we love him, but it's not going to happen. I like Kendall Graveman. He practically had the same year as Mark Melancon. We all saw him pitch in the playoffs. He's got playoff experience. I unfortunately think he's going to cost too much money, so you're going to start looking at guys like Archie Bradley's not a bad option. He's not the greatest, but he might be a really good mid-innings guy. Isaac mentioned this, so I'm going to let him talk about it just to defend himself. He said Joe Kelly. I don't think the fan base is going to like that, but you know what? It might be a fun one to have. I like, where'd he go? What's his name? Tyler Chatwood. He's one of those guys. He could go multiple innings. He has shown stuff as a starter to be able to go 8 innings, have absolutely lights out stuff. He did it to the Padres multiple times. It's just about unlocking that true potential. And now that we have Niebla, I think that's perfect. You can go and take some risks with some, lower deals with guys that have struggled. Now that you know that your pitching coach is legit and has developed pitching before, you can take some of these guys and be like, you know what? You didn't perform, but you can now. Another one, you guys might recognize this name just from probably last year just because of Mejia, Chaz Rowe. The guy has an absolute frisbee of a slider. Absolutely disgusting. made a name for himself by absolutely making a fool out of Mejia nearly every single time he faced him. Every time Mejia was up, it seemed like there was a clip on MLB or somewhere else, like Pitching Ninja. Like, oh my God, look at this Chaz Rose slider. And it's like Mejia looking like he had the worst swing in existence. So, you know, it might be fun to have some of those guys. What do you think, Isaac?
Yeah, you brought up Joe Kelly. Thing is, I don't even like Joe Kelly, like at all. But I think he's just intriguing because I don't know if he'll cost too much. I really don't think he would cost too much. And he's able to throw 98 on a fastball. Not exactly the most consistent guy out of the bullpen, but considering you're going to lose, thank God you're going to lose Daniel Hudson, but unfortunately you're going to lose Mark Melanson, who had himself a really solid year. Who knows how Keone Kela bounces back from his Tommy John. So, you know, there's a couple injuries in the bullpen that are unfortunate. We don't know what's going to happen with those. So we need guys in the bullpen that are relatively cheap that can have a good year. Joe Kelly is definitely, I think, one of those guys that can at least be decent, you know, be a decent bullpen arm. You brought up Kendall Graveman. I really like Kendall Graveman. I think he'd be a solid addition. I don't know how much it would cost. I just saw he made around $1.2 million in this year with the Mariners and the Astros. So I don't know if his value will go up much more than that. Although he did have a good year, maybe around $5 million, which still a little pricey, I guess. It's not too bad though, considering Drew Pomeranz, who's, you know, consistently getting injured, is making around, I think, 10 mil. I think Graveman would be solid for around that price range. You brought up Zach Davies. If you look at his 2021 Baseball Savant page, it is not pretty whatsoever. It's pretty disgusting if you ask me. But his 2020 with the Padres, it was only 60 games, and you know, I saw really good stuff out of him. And you know, with the praise that Niebla is getting, who knows? Maybe he could fix Zach Davies. Maybe San Diego was a comfort place for Zach Davies, where, you know, coming back to somewhere familiar, he could be productive for relatively cheap. He only made I think it was like 8.2 mil in Chicago. Now I don't know, you know, what happened with him in Chicago. You know, for anyone who's read any articles or anything on him, let me know. But he was a letdown for sure. I'm going to be a free agent here soon. Absolutely, I don't expect him to go back to the Cubs. So he's going to be he should be somebody on Preda's radar, considering, you know, the familiarity, you know, the success that Zach Davies had with us. I think he'd be a solid addition for us for cheap. And again, I know it's said that we don't need starters, but at the same time, you know, we all saw the devastating downfall of this 2021 Padres team, being really, you know, Yu Darvish got hurt, Blake Snell got hurt, Chris Paddock got hurt. We had a bunch of starters go down. We ended up having to see Jake Arrieta and Vince Velasquez. We don't want that again. That's why signing somebody like Zach Davies would be very nice. I think he could have a solid year with us. Other than that, though, like you brought up Jorge Soler as a solid DH. Yes, he would probably piss a couple Padre fans off because he's very inconsistent. But in this day and age, inconsistencies, I wouldn't say becoming the name of the game among players that aren't stars, but it's kind of becoming a thing where as long as you hit bombs in this day and age, it makes up for a little bit of inconsistency because, you know, pitchers are just throwing such nasty stuff nowadays that, you know, being able to, you know, be down 3-0, being 0 for 4, Jorge Soler comes up and hits a 3-run bomb, tie game, whatever. You pretty much made up for being 0 for your last 19, whatever it is. But it's kind of becoming the name of the game. I think he's an intriguing DH option. Other than that, we've kind of talked a lot about some free agent options, and there's a lot of intriguing ones out there. We, you know, Chase mentioned Marcus Stroman, how he's probably out of the range of outcomes unless they're able to you know, basically bank on a salary floor coming in, which would be very beneficial for us to be able to offload Hosmer, potentially all of his contract, if not, you know, hopefully most of it. So only in that case would I see us being able to add Marcus Stroman. And if that were the case, you know, that's an immediate 2 or 3 because Joe Musgrove is going to be our number 1, and he deserves it. So, you know, Marcus Stroman, an intriguing option, a guy that brings a lot of swagger, brings a lot of attitude. Not bad attitude. I mean, like fun attitude, somebody that you want in the mound, that you get happy to watch. But a lot of intriguing cheap options out there that I think could have solid years with the Padres. We don't need any flashy moves. A couple other people I thought of. I don't know what's going on with Jock Peterson. We're gonna get a lot more info here soon. But Chase, is there anyone you have left to talk about?
No, all I was gonna say is like we don't need the flashy move, like you were saying. We have a really good pitching coach now. He's gonna surround himself with guys that can bring a successful pitching rotation and bullpen. All we need is you take a couple chances on some guys that have really high potential and hope that Niebla can have the Darren Balsley effect and turn these no names into something. That's how the Padres bullpen has always been. Try to stick to that route because keeping it cheap in the bullpen and bringing in guys, on show me deals and just bringing up and evaluating talent successfully is where the Padres bullpen has always been successful. And that's always been our strength. Stick to that and have a couple, maybe low-end starters that are on show me deals like Paxton and Davies. You guys have yourself a winning roster. Sorry that my voice keeps cutting out. I'm a little sick and sound like death, but trying to stick in there.
Yeah, Chase. She didn't sound like that yesterday when we were playing games. I don't know what happened, but it's good. I think it's you bring up some very good points. The way this Padres team is going to win is being able to bring in guys, on cheap deals and hopefully see them succeed, have some depth in the bullpen and with starters. Especially in the bullpen, where we had the most taxed bullpen possibly in the entire league at one point, on track to throw the most innings ever by a bullpen. So I think that really needs to be an emphasis over the offseason, getting a lot of depth in terms of arms. So, with that being said, I think that's going to do it for us. We'll talk to you guys soon. We'll probably have some more info, some more discussion about some potential offseason additions. Let us know who you guys are interested in. Subscribe, whatever those other YouTubers say, turn on your notifications. But we hope you guys enjoyed listening to us today, and we'll talk to you guys soon.